If you're in the market for a new Class A motorhome, then the name Entegra most likely has popped up in conversation. That's because in just a few short years, this brand has earned a solid reputation for delivering a high value when it comes to bang for the buck of your motorhome buying dollar. Hi, I'm Andy Parr, the Gadget Guru, and I'm in Middlebury, Indiana. And in just a few minutes, you're going to meet Chuck Lasley, the Vice President of Sales of Entegra Coach. We're going to talk about where this company came from, where it is today, and where it's going tomorrow. We're also going to do a stem to stern walkthrough of this 2017 Cornerstone. So stay tuned, because that starts right now on the Gadget Guru. This is Chuck Lasley, the Vice President of Sales of Entegra Coaches. Now, Chuck, let me start with, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been at Entegra?
So with Entegra Coach, I've been here for about 5 years. I've been in this industry for 23 years, so I have a history of marketing and sales in a different part of the RV segment. Jayco, the parent company of Entegra, was actually one of my customers.
Oh, really?
And so was able to see what kind of company they were, how they treated their employees, how they built their products, how they treated their customers, and it was all uphill from there. It really was a great move on my part.
This company's pretty much come from nowhere. You know, they're 8 years old now, and in the world of the major motorhome manufacturers, that's like just a little bit of time. What was it like when you first got here, and how has it changed today?
So yeah, you're right. I mean, there's an evolution that always takes place when you launch a new product. For our parent company, Jayco, that's been around for almost 50 years, we're almost ready to celebrate our 50th anniversary. This was an opportunity for them to get into the high-end field. And so with the launch of, as you talked about, the launch of Entegra about 8 years ago, we've had some great challenges that have been overcome really quite neatly, if I could use that expression, because of the parent company and the reputation that Jayco has in the industry.
So like just somebody coming up and launching a new brand tomorrow, they know that there is a large company who knows how to do business behind them.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned coming up on 50 years for Jayco. I read something just this past week that Jayco just produced their millionth RV.
That's exactly right.
Did you have a party?
The party is yet to be determined.
Okay, I think, you know, when you have a milestone like that, a millionth anything.
Yes.
That's like something wonderful to celebrate.
You are exactly right. It's a big deal for us, and that's why the press release went out. And really, in addition to it being a big thing for us, it also hopefully translates to the customer that happens to read that we know what we're doing.
As you know, I'm fairly new to the motorhome industry.
Sure.
And I'm trying to consider, you know, which route do I go to buy my first motorhome? Do I start off with an entry-level coach, or do I buy my last coach first? As I've gone online and I've read about Entegra, I'm hearing bang for the buck, that it is of value. Now, I know it's one conversation, and let me tell you something, it's difficult when you're a newbie. When you're going in the dealers, or I think the number that I saw from the RVIA this week is that 90% of shoppers shop online. They do the research. 80% of them use YouTube. So taking it from a newbie's point of view, when I go up and I see suggested retails, like for example, this coach is upwards of $600,000. Now, I realize that that's a manufacturer suggested retail, but that's really not the selling price. What advice do you have to newbies that are looking at your line, any of your current 3 models or the fourth one coming out? How do they determine what is the fair price to play without playing a bunch of games at dealership level?
Well, I think just like you said, 80% of consumers are going to do their research online first. A dealer already takes that into perspective when a customer comes onto their lot. I think it's doing your homework, and I think it's finding a dealer that's going to work well. We're pretty picky about the dealers that we partner with. We do call them and refer to them as partners, and so it's really just doing your homework like you would in any other field or shopping for any other item.
You've also earned a really good reputation about customer support and quality control. And again, I'm going to take this from a newbie's point of view. One of my great fears of buying a great RV or motorhome as my first one is that I don't know that much about them. And if I just rely on what I read online, you read about a lot of products. There's a word that I really shouldn't have to read, or two words, called punch list. What's Entegra doing to make that punch list as small as possible and possibly eliminating it in the future?
Well, you know, I don't know that it'll be completely eliminated in the future. We make great strides at Entegra Coach to really eliminate as much of those items as possible. We're trying to change the industry. You know, there's a lot of excuses out there that these are complicated machines, that they're hand built, and all of that is true. But there are some things that we feel like a manufacturer can put into place so that we can minimize that punch list as much as possible. One of the sayings that we like to really reinforce is that you can inspect in quality, you have to build in quality.
It has to be engineered.
It has to be engineered into it.
I don't really know what RVIA standards are, because when you go to their website, rvia.org, to read about it, they give you about 3 or 4 sentences. You have to be a member to see what those standards are. So I'm just going to say, from a consumer's point of view, that you're delivering great value, and I'm hearing wonderful things about your customer support. I just wish there was a way to make newbies like me, who aren't engineers or aren't mechanics, to feel more comfortable. Now, I took your factory tour yesterday, and let me tell you, I've been on 3 factory tours in the past 5 weeks. Impressive.
Good.
And it's impressive in a number of ways. It is well lit. I mean, it is large. The people there are enthusiastic. Your tour was unrushed. This wasn't a 30-minute tour. It was a 2.5-hour tour. It had about 10 people on there. There were question and answers. We could go up and down, and we could see the chassis that you're taking the Spartan K3. You're modifying it. You're putting on these wood subfloors. You're doing all this insulation. It's really a good story, and I'd encourage anybody who is considering one of these to come by and take the tour. I mean, this is a big investment.
Well,
it's worth an hour in your time.
And that's the other part of this in your message to try to educate newbies, right? Is to encourage them to come to the factory. Watch how we make the coach. Listen to how we build it. Listen to some of the stories of what we do to try to build in that quality rather than inspect in that quality, right? So the attitude of our craftsmen, which is what we refer our line workers and our production staff, we refer to them as craftsmen, because every person that puts their hands on the coach makes a difference in the coach.
Okay, let's talk about the chassis.
Sure.
Because, you know, we spent a lot of time going through that area. You're using the Spartan K3 on this coach.
On the Cornerstone.
Okay,
correct.
on this coach.
Correct.
You now have the passive tag axle, or the steering tag axle.
Be careful there, right? So there's a distinction, a definite distinction. Marketing out in this industry right now leaves some things to be desired, especially when we focus on that, because the industry will like to market this as a steerable tag. It is not a steerable tag.
Okay,
it is a passive
steer. Active.
Exactly.
Like what
so I turn the steering.
Exactly
right. Exactly right.
Okay, on this, it's kind of follow the lead.
Correct.
Okay, we got some video earlier today.
Good.
Let me put it in. But on this one, when I was watching today in the parking lot, as this turns, as you're moving, it will turn it. As you straighten out, it straightens out. Now,
correct.
I noticed that I think in your literature it says that it reduces the turning radius by 7 degrees. What is the turning radius on it?
Well, the 55 degrees is where we want to be. The passive steer is going to eliminate a few degrees, like you talked about. Really, the basic premise behind it is really, as you've already talked about, is to make that U-turn even tighter, make that ability to make tighter turns better.
When you're looking through this mirror, not clipping off that.
And so the other thing that you run into is on that tag is you don't want any rubbing to take place of the tires, and so that eliminates a lot of that rubbing. The other thing that we do is that we give the owner the ability, as they're driving, to release the pressure off of that tag so that they don't rub too. So there's 2 different things.
Because if with the passive axle, do you still need to lift the tires?
Do you need to? That's a good question.
Or is it just...
You need to do that less because you have the passive steer.
So if you have a really, really tight tire, if you're not thinking about it, don't worry about it. The other thing I want to point out before we go inside to take the tour, today I had the opportunity to drive. Now granted, I have all of 15 to 17 hours behind the wheel, but they've been professional instruction lessons behind the wheel. I don't have a lot to compare to, but the ride was absolutely impressive. The cab forward design.
Yep.
I'm not a tall guy. I'm 5'6". Now, could I sit in my seat and see the front corners? No. But can I just sit up, get my butt that much off the seat and see it? Yes.
Okay.
The lower mirrors made a huge difference.
Good.
But my favorite features are your blind spot warning, and you're calling it your intelligent cruise control, which is basically adaptive cruise. Now, I don't go on long. I have a video on that where we went through that in detail, where we got with Brian.
Good.
And you're one of your sales managers.
Yep.
Did a good job on it. The one thing that I want to point out is that of all the coaches I've looked at today, well, some of them have a form of an adaptive cruise, which is basically a caravan feature.
Right.
That when you slow down, it lets off, whether it's a jake brake or an engine retarder, it slows you down. Yours actually touches the brake. It's more like an automobile. Was it difficult making the decision to do that?
It wasn't difficult making the decision. I think what we have done in the past is we've really tried to see what's out there, make sure that it fits within the guidelines that we want, and certainly safety is something that we really, really focus on at Entegra Coach, as well as all the products at Jayco.
Right. Now, I know we're going on very long. Let's do
That's
this.
okay.
I promised you a trip inside. We're going to take a break in a minute. What we're going to do, the slides are in right now, and if people who've seen my video, I don't just show coaches with the slides out like so many people do. Let's get them to with it in as they're opening up. Okay. Then let's go in. If you don't mind, let's take a tour and tell me about why things are the way they are.
Sure, you got it.
Okay, stay tuned. Let's go inside. I'll cue the music. Let's take a look at the slides opening up and revealing the 2017 Entegra Cornerstone. As you can see, the slides are in. And for the time being, the ottomans are placed up here. But you notice there's plenty of room. Even if you want to take a break and sit down and watch TV, you can do it. You have plenty of room to move. Granted, sideways, down by the dinette. You get down here by the refrigerator, things are a lot wider. Now, here's something, and let me point out. To get to the master bath, you can do it, but you need to step over the bed. There is no walk room to do this. But in a coach of this price range, that's not a bad thing. Now, over here, this is something else to point out. On some coaches I've seen, they use an innovation. Well, is it an innovation or they kind of mask something? Where they have a pivoting door here. Now, what that does is allow you to open the door without banging the counter. This does not. This door has real hinges, and it's a real wood door. You open it up. Notice I can walk right in. Nothing banged up against the counter. See, I can go all the way in here. I know you can't see me, but there's plenty of room in here. Whether you're standing up or whether you're sitting down, you're not going to bang your knees. But the important thing I want to note, that even when you're traveling in the slides room, or even if you stopped in a Walmart parking lot, there is enough room to get around. Okay, I tell you what we're going to do. This segment's running long. So what we're going to do, I'm going to continue this in part 2. So I'm going to put a link down here. If you don't see the link, just go to youtube.com/thegadgetguru. Go to gadgetguru.com/motorhomes. And remember, if you want to keep posted of new posts, just go to facebook.com/thegadgetguru and like it. That's the easiest way to do it. And there's no spam involved. So here's what we're going to do. Stay tuned, because in segment number 2, we're going inside and we're going to take a look at the Cornerstone with the slides out. I'll see you soon. I'm the Gadget Guru, Andy Parr.